Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including updates for Tesla's future affordable car, Tesla's new vehicle coming out December 1st, FSD updates, Tesla's safety records, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla continues their trend of making incredibly safe vehicles. After the Model Y received the highest rating ever from Euro NCAP a couple months ago, the updated, refreshed Model S has now been tested. It received 5 stars, getting 94% for adult occupant, 91% for child occupant, and 85% for vulnerable road users. They also received maximum points awarded in far side impact subsection, and maximum points awarded in rescue, extraction, and post-crash safety subsection. One thing the official report notes that Tesla seems to skip in their blog post is the vulnerable road user score of 85%. It's still great, but Tesla loses points for AEB pedestrian. That aside, Tesla specifically notes that this is the refreshed Model S that includes the yoke. Quote, Model S is the first vehicle with a yoke to receive 5 stars from Euro NCAP. For all the criticism that yoke has received, it doesn't appear to impact safety in any way. That's all related to crash safety, but Tesla scored incredibly well for preventing an accident. Euro NCAP rated safety assist 98%, scoring 3 out of 3 for speed assistance, 3 out of 3 for occupant status monitoring, 4 out of 4 for lane support, and 5.7 out of 6 for auto emergency braking car to car. When comparing this to the recent Model Y results, both cars are very impressive but a tad different. Adult occupancy scored 3% higher in the Model Y compared to the Model S, child occupancy was 4% higher in the Model S compared to the Model Y, vulnerable road users scored 3% less in the Model Y, and safety assist got 98% in both cars. This is because both cars feature the same exact standard Tesla Vision safety system. It's always great to see Tesla's vehicles scoring so high in these tests, and as always, Tesla is likely looking at any of those low numbers as room for improvement in future vehicle iterations. Next up today, electric trucks in general are starting to come to market. Rivian was first with the R1T, GM launched the Hummer EV around the same time, and then Ford shipped the F-150 Lightning. Each of these trucks are popular in their own ways, and many feel that Tesla will be too far behind when the Cybertruck arrives. Not only are these other brands already shipping trucks while Tesla is tooling and hiring for Cybertruck production, but many future electric truck offerings have been announced. Some promise 400-mile ranges. Electric cars in general are making a lot more sense for people, but charging infrastructure still remains an issue, especially with non-Tesla EVs. The good news is that most EVs can travel 250 to 300 miles or so, but the main issue we're starting to see with electric trucks is how well they perform when towing. For daily driving and hauling, a 300-mile range in the Hummer EV, F-150 Lightning, or R1T is plenty, but once towing is in play, that means reduced range and more charging stops. Many love the Lightning, but also have noted that the truck can't do normal truck things. You would be stopping every hour to recharge, which would take about 45 minutes a pop, and this is absolutely not practical. That's because these trucks have max charging speeds and have large batteries due to the size of the vehicle. You need more energy to go the same distance in a large truck, and when towing, this becomes especially noticeable. You get much less range out of the battery, which still takes the same time to charge. When Motor Trend towed 8,500 pounds with the F-150 Lightning, they couldn't get 100 miles of range. The question here is, what is Tesla's plan here? Could their delays with the Cybertruck be related to them wanting that truck to ship with more practical real-world specs? When they announced the Cybertruck in 2019, specs included a 250-plus mile range version capable of towing 7,500 pounds, a 300-plus mile range version capable of towing 10,000 pounds, and a 500-plus mile range version capable of towing 14,000 pounds. Now, we already know pricing is going to change on this truck. The most expensive tri-motor Cybertruck pricing, as announced, is only a couple $1,000s more than a base Model Y today. Elon has confirmed this as well. There's no way that pricing can hold up today. At the same time, we also know Tesla plans for tri-motor to be replaced with quad motor. This will likely bring up the Cybertruck pricing even further, and we aren't entirely sure if Tesla's 500-mile range will actually be delivered. The longest range Tesla has delivered is 400 miles, and Elon has talked about this being plenty because of superchargers and daily usage. I tend to agree, except for when it comes to towing, which is why that long-range Cybertruck truly makes sense. However, right at the same time, and prior to the Cybertruck release, Tesla has released an official poster for their latest vehicle announcement. It's their semi-delivery event and will be happening on December 1st. Since the Semi is being produced in Nevada, the event will be taking place there. This is actually the first delivery event from Giga Nevada, as this is the first vehicle Tesla is producing from that factory. For those who want want to go, Tesla will be allowing retail shareholders to enter into a drawing via their investor relations website. The hope is that we'll truly get final details and specs on the Semi to know exactly how efficient this vehicle is and what final operational costs will be. As for the event, the next question immediately on people's minds here, though, is will Tesla unveil more at this event? In 2017, they announced the Semi and then surprise announced the next generation Roadster. Both vehicles have been heavily delayed, so maybe Tesla will use this as an opportunity to get people excited about the Roadster once again. They could also reveal more about the Cybertruck or simply deliver first Semis and call it a day. At the same time, though, another report is saying that Tesla plans to deliver far more than a couple Semis this year. Quote, Tesla is aiming to produce about 100 Tesla Semi electric trucks this year, which is a bit higher than what was anticipated. Robin Denhold, chair of Tesla's board in a trial this week, said Tesla, for example, might produce 100 semi-trailer trucks this year. To the average person, the launch of the Semi isn't that exciting, but this is Tesla's newest vehicle and it's coming this year. It's completely unlike the Model 3 or Y, which is what they're most focused on, and it's important for a number of reasons. One big reason is that Tesla is finally delivering a product that many thought they'd never actually ship. The other exciting thing about the Semi is its 500-mile range while fully loaded at 82,000 pounds. Tesla's updated Semi website also says it will consume less than 2 kilowatt hours of energy per mile of driving when carrying all of that weight. On the one hand, this means the Semi likely has a 1,000 kilowatt hour battery. That's the biggest battery Tesla has ever shipped and looks good for them shipping other large battery packs in future vehicles like the Cybertruck. On the other hand, this is Tesla's latest vehicle that could very much inform them for serious towing on the Cybertruck. The general rule of thumb is that depending on weight, you should expect a 50% range reduction when towing in an EV. For EV trucks shipping today with a maximum range of 300 miles, this cuts to 150 miles or less in many tests, which requires a lot of charging. When charging the F-150 Lightning in this example, not only is third-party charger reliability in question, but charging speed maxes at 150 kilowatts. When your battery pack is 130 kilowatt hours and your range is cut in half, that's when 150 kilowatt charging speeds start to feel slow. You may be truly waiting 45 minutes to charge up a distance you'll travel in just over an hour. In the Rivian R1T currently, charging speed can be a bit better, maxing at 220 kilowatts if you can find the right charger. With the Cybertruck though, not only did Tesla announce a 500-mile range option, meaning roughly 200 or 250 miles available when towing, but they announced that truck would be capable of 250 plus kilowatt charging. In theory, this could mean that Tesla finally enables superchargers to charge above 250 kilowatts, or they start installing new V4 stalls capable of this. The rumor is that they would be capable of 350 kilowatt charging speeds, and the Cybertruck would be the first vehicle capable of utilizing it. In theory, this could mean that while Tesla is shipping the Cybertruck around a year after solid EV trucks have arrived, the Cybertruck could become one of the only EV pickup trucks actually usable in the real world for all trucking needs. Its weird design actually contributes to great aerodynamics, meaning that it will likely be more efficient than most normal-looking electric trucks we've seen so far. The Cybertruck could go further on the same charge, tow things further, and charge much faster than electric trucks we've seen so far. Maybe Tesla doesn't care how late they are because their truck will blow all others out of the water when it comes to practicality. Now, of course, this is speculation based on specs that Tesla announced 3 years ago and have likely changed. It's exciting to look at this, but it's very possible that Tesla ends up shipping the Cybertruck with a 300 or 400 mile range and max charge speed of 250 kilowatts, just like their current vehicles. For the average person, these specs will be plenty and already beat the competition in certain areas like charging speeds and charging reliability. Tesla's supercharger network just can't be beat, and Ford, among others, are aware of this. Ford's CTO for their Model E electric programs said, quote, "The infrastructure is the biggest thing that really has to be nailed for widespread adoption. Most people will charge their EV at home 90% of the time, but if they have a vehicle that they can't go longer distances in past 300 miles, it really becomes much more difficult to commit to one." For the Cybertruck, as soon as it arrives, it should have access to thousands of Tesla superchargers at 250 kilowatt charging speeds. This alone makes charging stops a bit easier. The only concern here might be if the Cybertruck actually has trouble fitting into tight supercharger spots built for much smaller Teslas. The average customer is typically Tesla's target market, so we may see them focused on making a truck that they can scale instead of making one that's truly capable of towing distances. Maybe their current tech will be plenty, at least initially, for the very popular Cybertruck. Either way, the launch of the Semi is great to see and should give them data to inform towing on the Cybertruck on a large scale. They'll have about 6 to 8 months of real-world Semi usage underway before Cybertruck production is set to start. We'll see if this ends up helping them. If Tesla does it right, the Cybertruck could really blow away the competition position, no matter how late they may seem. Next up today, the mystery of Tesla in a cheaper vehicle has kept many people interested. Back at Battery Day in 2020, Tesla first hinted at making a cheaper vehicle. This would be cheaper than the Model 3, which was supposed to start at $35,000 and now starts at $47,000 in the US. Tesla and Elon Musk have gone through phases of talking about making this car, saying that they aren't working on it, shifting focus to their dedicated robotaxi and more. But now Elon has talked about it again. At the B20 summit in Indonesia, Elon was asked about his thoughts on an affordable Tesla. The interviewer joked about it being called Model I for Indonesia or India, countries where this vehicle would be competitive, and Elon said, "Yeah, I can't speak too much about the future Tesla product development, except to say that we think that making a much more affordable vehicle would make a lot of sense, and we should do something." At times, people are worried Tesla will never make this car, but it's definitely on their minds. In the meantime, they still have to launch the Semi, Cybertruck, 4680 Model Y, and scale multiple factories, so it will be some time. But Elon Musk is clear that they want to make a much more affordable vehicle in the future. The question is what level of self-driving that future car may have. I think in Elon's mind, a cheaper Tesla is a self-driving Tesla. Regarding self-driving, Tesla is officially rolling out V11 of FSD, which Elon Musk has hyped up for some time now. The big change that this version brings is finally making FSD a single stack for city driving and highway driving. Until now, FSD has essentially shifted in to navigate on autopilot on the freeway. Now it will be using the same visualizations and processing throughout the whole process, no matter where you're driving. Elon Musk spoke of this, saying, quote, "Beta V11 hopefully end of next month, which just amounts to incorporating highway. Importance of V11 has been reduced by all the 10.x releases. We're already mostly at V11. On November 11th, Elon said FSD V11 rolled out at 11:11 p.m. Pacific. But this left people wondering who this was rolled out to. As of right now, it's still limited and will be widening before Thanksgiving, reportedly. Again, it's unclear who this is going to then roll out to, but Tesla is always very cautious with their rollouts of FSD beta versions when they change big things like this single stack is expected to do. We should be seeing this expansion in the next few days and weeks. Hopefully it leads to some fixes and ends up trickling down to Tesla's basic autopilot system to fix things like phantom braking and more. Next up today, Elon Musk is hard at work on Twitter, and many Tesla fans are still frustrated that he's splitting his time sleeping at Twitter headquarters and more. His most recent update involves him almost being ready to pass Twitter off, though. Quote, Elon Musk said on Wednesday he expects to reduce his time at Twitter and eventually find a new leader to run the social media company, adding that he hoped to complete an organizational restructuring this week. Elon himself added, "There's an initial burst of activity needed post-acquisition to reorganize the company, but then I expect to reduce my time at Twitter." Likely, he'll be noticeably contributing there for a while, but this initial run where it feels like he isn't at Tesla at all appears to be wrapping up soon. That's very good news for many who want him back focused at Tesla. Last up today, some updates about other automakers. Lucid had a big event this week, launching two new Lucid Air models. First is the Lucid Air Pure with an aluminum roof, and they plan to launch it initially with the dual motor version. This brings 480 horsepower, a 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, and a range of 410 miles EPA. The goal of that car is to finally make it available to more customers, coming in at $87,400 to start. The Lucid Air Touring is the next model they officially unveiled. It's dual motor with 620 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, more rear legroom, and a range of 425 miles EPA. On the complete other side of the spectrum is the Lucid Air Sapphire, which they officially unveiled specs for. This includes over 1,200 horsepower, a plaid-beating 0 to 60 in 1.89 seconds, and a top speed of 205 miles per hour. Essentially, it looks like the overall goal of this car is to beat the Plaid Model S, and this will come out in the first half of next year at $249,000. After all of these updates about the Lucid Air, they officially unveiled the first look at their SUV called Gravity. From what we can tell, this will be a 3-row SUV with lots of space. Not much has been shared, but it will have a very large glass roof, very comfortable seating available, and Lucid will be starting to take reservations in early 2023. Judging off the Lucid Air, this should be very luxurious and expensive for an electric SUV, but could offer some incredibly impressive specs when it comes to range. Over at Polestar, they just recorded their first profit since going going public. Quote, strategic cost-cutting measures and rising demand pushed Polestar into positive earnings territory as the company eyes 50,000 deliveries by year's end while solidifying its position in the rapidly evolving global auto industry. That's especially big news because there are very few EV manufacturers, especially new brand names, profiting off of their EVs at this point. Polestar has had success quickly. Polestar is expecting Q4 to be their highest yet with over 20,000 anticipated deliveries. Great to see another EV brand succeeding here, and we'll watch them grow in the future with the introduction of the Polestar 3 SUV. Porsche is on track to unveil their first fully electric SUV in 2024. This will be Porsche's first vehicle built on their upcoming premium platform electric, and this is co-developed with Audi. PPE, as it is called, uses an 800-volt architecture, and Porsche plans to build their cars with 100 kilowatt-hour battery packs here. In the future, improving on the Taycan, they also plan to get charging down to 25 minutes when going from 5 to 80%. Details here are slim, but deliveries are supposedly set for 2024, with an official announcement expected in late 2023 as the design of this car is finalized. Given the success of the Porsche Taycan, this SUV is expected to do very well, and it will be interesting to see them go up against the Lucid Gravity here. As always, the big question is where to charge these EVs on road trips. Over at GM, CEO Mary Barra is planning to reiterate GM's plans to build 1 million EVs in 2025, but also to be profitable with EVs by 2025. That's a big goal, and a lot is riding on the introduction of a number of EVs from GM that should be coming in 2023. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest for Tesla's charging standard, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.